Hey, gang. Hey there. It's Todd. Is this working now? Sorry for a little bit of the delay there. There was a problem with my internet. I don't know if it was gagging or something, but I was all black and white and I couldn't connect with y'all. But looks like we're going now. So it looks like we're ready for day 5 of week 6 of my COVID-19 coronavirus stay-at-home order post-it pop art live stream. It's a long title. I really gotta kind of narrow that down a bit. Something more catchy. Yeah, so we're wrapping up my first alter ego week. This has been a lot of fun, a lot of great response to alter ego week. So I'm going to continue alter ego week every now and again. So we'll see what the future holds. I'm not sure if I'll do alter ego week next week. I might try some new stuff next week. I'm not sure. I'm going to think about some things over the weekend, kind of mix things up a little bit, try some new art stuff possibly. We'll see. Or we might just do another week of post-its. But yeah, so just think about some new stuff here for our weekday content. But that's a talk for another time. Right now, we have a Black Panther, T'Challa Black Panther for alter ego week here. All Avengers week. It's been Avengers week to start off my first alter ego week. So feel free to draw along with whatever tools you have, with whatever paper you have. Doesn't have to be a post-it. It can be whatever you have. Main thing is to have some fun, and I'll share my tips and tricks with you. So yeah, enough of the intro. It's gone on way too long. Let's flip the camera around and let's get to drawing. All right, here we go. Readjust the light and got my gray post-it note here. I thought gray might be a good color for T'Challa. And slash Black Panther. Where'd my there's my Unikuratoga mechanical pencil, 0.3 HB lead. Let's start with that circle for the skull. Actually, let me get that center line going, which will run all the way down his face and down his chest. Let's bring the sides of the face down, jaw, chin. Nice strong jaw and chin. Dropping an eye line here, halfway. We're right in the middle of the face. From the top to the chin, halfway, boom, eye line. Just going to continue to break things down. Halfway for the nose line, halfway down to the chin for the mouth line. Let's drop in that neck here. Nice strong neck, so coming from the side of the head. Gonna kind of angle down for those neck muscles, pulling to that center of the collarbone here. Get those shoulder muscles swooping in here. Little neck striation tendon thing. So we'll have T'Challa over here on this side and then Black Panther on this side. So glad everyone's here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're here for some fun to draw along if you'd like, or just watch. I'm cool either way. You're welcome to post comments here, live streamers, or if you're watching this on replay later on, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. So we got one eye here. We'll put another eye over here. Almond-shaped eyes. About the width would be one eyeball in between. That's about one eyeball to the side of the head. So I'm going to draw the comic book version of T'Challa here, not the movie version. You're welcome to draw the movie version if you want, but I'm going strictly comic book versions here this week. So let's get the ear in there. We'll have a little bump of an ear for the mask side. Get this eyebrow in here. Nice thick eyebrow. Hairline, about halfway. We'll start the hairline here. So across the forehead, down the temple, back over to the side. Going to create a nice texture to his hair here. And then all this will be filled in black. We'll leave it open here for some color, for some light reflecting on his hair. Nice healthy head of hair. Let's see, let's continue to break down the face. From the middle of the eye down. It tells me how wide to make his mouth. Let's get his nose in here. Drop in a nostril right there on the nose line. See if I can put in the details of the eye here, the iris and the pupil. And for his mouth, let's see, get that philtrum, which is that trough between the bottom of your nose and your top lip. Now we're not going to see his mouth on this side, but I will kind of rough it in, and the same with the nose, just so I know what is underneath the mask when we get to the Black Panther side. Then his bottom lip, and his chin. Strengthen up that jaw a little bit more. I'm going to put T'Challa in some royal garb. Maybe something that is a little similar to what we've seen in the movies here. I actually pulled up some reference, but I just lost it. There we go. Got it back. Kind of this purple coat with the kind of the Wakanda decorations on the shoulders here. So I'm actually looking at some reference here to build the designs. But you can make up whatever designs you want if you want. I'm actually going to make some changes, just kind of getting a basis of what has been done, and then maybe make some stylistic changes. So this part will be purple, and then he has the kind of the black under part. So just on the looks a bit more regal. Actually, I feel this eye is set a little too high, so I'm just going to make a little adjustment here. Actually clean up my line art here a little bit so it's a little easier to ink. Did I know that the Black Panther movie came out on your 20th birthday? I knew it came out on somebody's birthday, but I didn't know whose. That's really cool. What a fun way to celebrate your birthday. I assume you went to see it on your birthday. If you didn't, well, I hope you did something fun for your birthday. Don't forget his cat ear on his costume side. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We haven't even gotten to the Black Panther side. Just focusing on the T'Challa side right now. But yeah, oh, goodness gracious. We've got to get that cat ear over there. That's a defining aspect of his Black Panther-ness. Oh, Doctor Strange came out on your birthday. Wow, looks like Marvel movies on the birthday is the way to go. I don't know of any movie. I think New Mutants was supposed to open on my birthday or the day after my birthday, but thanks to the COVID situation, it didn't happen. So no birthday movie for me. But I'm sure it'll happen someday. And when it does, I'm gonna go nuts. All right, so we got the ear coming right off the head, then kind of pulling down here to the side of the head. Gonna work in some, we're gonna really work in some nice black shapes here. We're gonna spot some blacks. A lot of people ask, how do you know how to spot the blacks when you're rendering a character who has a very dark colored costume? Many characters do. And you consider the planes and angles of the face and body, as well as the light source. So if we consider the light source coming from above, the light's going to hit on everything that is the top or forefront where the light would hit. So you kind of have to imagine it if you don't have photo reference. So I'm imagining, well, with the forehead here, we'll put a nice dark forehead. So all of this will be filled in with black ink. But the top of his head here will be white. Here on the sides, this part of his cat ear would be filled in black. Now what's really fun to do is, since I know where his nose is to create a panther-like shape to the facial shadows of his mask. So I know where the cheek is. You cover up much of his face here. So I want to, underneath his eye is always a nice place to put a nice dark shadow. Makes the eye pop. A little rendering on the eyelid. See through the chin here. Now, if you want to draw the movie version, there'll be a lot of markings. You know, he has those lines on his mask. Feel free to do that. I'm doing the comic book version, so we're going to forego that. We're going to give him his Panther medallion and his neck treatment here. And actually, for the complete fun of it, I've always dug his cape. So because I'm doing the comic book version, I'm going to drop that cape and collar in here because I think it looks cool. So I think it looks, you know, is a cool superhero look, but also keeps him looking royal. I think it's a very kingly sort of look for his superhero identity as well. So I always dug the cape. Because not a lot of Marvel superheroes wear capes compared to DC superheroes, from my observation. I mean, you got Thor, you got Vision, Scarlet Witch, and Doctor Strange. But how many other Marvel heroes wear capes? I mean, there's some villains, or villains turned hero like Magneto. He wears a cape. Polaris wears a cape oftentimes. All right, so that takes care of the pencils here. Let's switch over to do some inks. So I'm going to use my microns, the 01005, sorry that the labels are upside down, and the 008. I can just do this and they won't be upside down anymore. These are my go-tos right here. Thick, not so, pretty thin, and then very thin. So I like to start with my 08. We're going to ink T'Challa, and then we're going to switch over and ink Black Panther. So I'm going to use some thick and thin bloops here to create a nice texture to his hair. Zelda Twilight Princess came out on your birthday. Oh, that's fun. I remember when Legend of Zelda was brand new. So I remember a time before Zelda. I was a small child, but it was a time nonetheless. Then down his jawline to his chin. Thanks for adding the cape. Awesome. Your favorite version is with the cape. Right on. Looks like we're part of the same club here, the Black Panther with a Cape fan club. Meetings are at the Five Guys Burgers off the Beltline every Tuesday night. Well, not during this COVID season, but once we get done with this COVID stay-at-home season, we'll get back to the club meetings. And yeah, but usually we try to meet around 7 o'clock. And then we just discuss how awesome his cape is. It's a good time. Membership fluctuates, but you know, that can be expected. Let's see his hair here. Let's get the hairline. Five Guys is enough to ignore COVID. Well, we can always get food to go. We can support our restaurants by having food ready for, you know, you can call ahead for takeout or delivery. So that's great. So many delivery services are offering, you know, free delivery like DoorDash. Some restaurants themselves have their own delivery, which is great. So great way to support our favorite restaurants and communities by whether it be local shops and restaurants is you know, helping these businesses and some small businesses, especially your local comic shop, helping them stay afloat. I'm going to drop in this this line here that is going to separate the T'Challa side from the Black Panther side. Switch to the 0-1 here for a nice thin line. Going to ink those nostrils here. A little bit of the nose. Let's I'll fill this in black a little bit later on. A little sideburn texture there as the hair fades down to the sideburn area. Not long sideburns. Unless you're doing the beard, then you take that all the way down. But I'm doing the comic book version, so no beard on comic book version T'Challa. Eyebrows, kind of feathering the inside and outside of the eyebrow. And then the eyelid. A little bit of a cheek definition there. His upper lip, then his bottom lip here. Does T'Challa have a chin dimple? Don't think so. Not according to my comic book reference, he does not. A little bit of a neck muscle and Adam's apple. Let's see, I'm going to switch to the 005 for a little more detail in the pupil and iris. So my finest point here to, finest point pen to get the detail I need. Without things getting too muddy. All right, I think we're about ready to move over to the Black Panther side. So back to the 0.8 micron. I'm going to start with the cape here because it overlaps. So I like to work foreground to background for the most part, most times. And then his mask, it's going to come close to the skull, accounting for a little bit of hair, or the hair being pushed down underneath it. Get this side of his head, all the way up to the cat ear. Got to be careful when you're making your Black Panther ears. The wrong shape, and it might look like Batman. So we have to consider the cat shape more than a bat ear shape. there is a slight difference. So now this big forehead chunk, so we come down the forehead, a little bit of the brow there. So all that will be filled in black later on. Kind of the inside of the cat ear right there. Now for his eye, I want to switch to the 0.1 micron, just for that more precision with a finer tip line. Just maintain that almond shape. Render in a little bit of upper eyelid. And we have the shadow underneath his eye. Gonna kind of let it fade out for some texture. Keeping in mind the shape and direction of the cheek. Now for like the panther sort of panther-like shadows under his nose and down to over his upper lip. So that will be filled in black. And this chin here. Let's see, back to the 0.8 micron to finish out his jawline. I like the thicker tipped micron for my when I need to get those thicker lines. It's a little bit easier. Even though this is a smaller piece of paper, smaller illustration, I can still utilize a thick line, and it the 0.8 gets me there in a much more timely fashion. Now working those neck muscles. A little shadow of the cape overlapping. This part will be filled in black. This chin part will be shadow will be filled in black. And then we come up the jawline, or the inside of the jaw line to the cheek line here. Maybe a little flex of the jaw right there, that little muscle. And then well, at the bottom of the ear shape. So those spots will be filled in black. Then we have his panther medallion. Can't really see much of it, but this little panther head inside of a circle. Then we have the kind of the, I don't even know what you call these, the circles and rectangles that make up his necklace. Some wrinkles of the cape on the cape collar there. Fill that in black. I'll fill that part in black a little bit. Then the wrinkles of the cape that drape from, so the cape it connects at the center here, so it drapes this way. So it all kind of curves from tight lines to, or tight shapes to broader shapes as we move towards the shoulder. So we'll have darker parts here at the base of the cape, and then as we move towards the shoulder, where the light is hitting, that's where we'll have more open areas to bring in those gray tones to show the highlight of light hitting black. Okay, so now with his these markings here, even though I penciled them in, they will get erased, and I'm going to fill those in with white. I'm going to redraw those in with white gel pen a little bit later on. So if you're wondering why I'm not inking those, I wanted them to look more like white stitching on what will be a colored part of his jacket. I'll probably make this part purple. So I'm going to cap my pens back, and then we can erase all these pencil lines. And then we can start in on the colors. Now I'll be using Copic sketch markers, but you are free to use whatever markers or crayons, colored pencils, paints of some sort, whatever you have to color with, go for it. If you don't have anything to color with, then just do a strict line art drawing, and that is cool as well. Just going to leave a ghost image of the design here as a guideline for when it's time to fill that in. Now I'm going to fill in all these black parts in a little bit here. I'm going to fill those in last, actually, because I don't want to risk the black ink smearing or smudging. So this helps kind of minimize that possibility. So let's start with skin tones here for T'Challa. I'm going to start dark and work to light. So I'm going to start with the E15. And I'm just going to hit all the what would be shadow areas first. So any part that's furthest away from the light. That's where I'm going to start. It's like under the lip, under the chin, down the jawline. Going to just kind of sculpt the angles of the face. A little bit more under the eye, maybe kind of pulling down like that a little bit. Next up, I'm going to go power down to the E13, going just a little bit lighter. Not by much. Just eating up more of that real estate that I left open. And then from here, I take it to the E11 for the lightest part. Barely leaving a little bit of the paper on there for a highlight on the skin. Going to come in with a little R20, a little bit of pink here to rosy up the nose, as I like to do. Put some pink through the lips and the cheeks and the nose. Because, you know, there's blood flowing underneath that skin. All right, for his eyes, I think his eyes are kind of a gray, so I'm going to use some neutral gray 4. For the eyes, I'm going to use the same neutral gray 4 in his hair. Just leaving a little bit of the outer edge there open for the highlight, hitting his Pantene Pro V healthy head of hair. I'm sure T'Challa has the finest of all hair care products. Wouldn't be surprised if he and Tony Stark can discuss possible hair care product options. I'm sure whatever T'Challa used, Tony Stark would pay thousands upon thousands just for one bottle of what T'Challa has access to. So that same neutral gray there for the black part of his jacket. And now we're going to come in with some purples. I'm going to start with some V15. I think purple is a very royal color of royalty. So definitely want to use some purple here. So the V15. Working to remember the light is hitting on the shoulder here. So did I just see Larry is about to be a grandfather? Congratulations, Larry. That's awesome. Great news, especially in this time. Pray for health on your daughter or daughter-in-law, and health on the baby as well. So now some V06. And then we're going to follow that up with some V01 here. Very light shade of purple just to kind of blend all the way out to the upper shoulder. You can just leave a little bit right there for a highlight hitting the top of the shoulder. I'll come in and I'll do that white stitching a little bit later on. Now for the Black Panther side, let's tackle his silver necklace first. What say? Going to start with some B01. It's a shade of bright light blue. Going to create a kind of a silvery sort of look. I'll do this for Colossus or Silver Surfer, anyone who is has a metal sort of texture or look. And I'll either use neutral grays or cool grays. This time I'm going to use cool grays for this silver. So a little cool gray 3 to go over that. Because this illustration is so tiny, that's all we need. And we're going to give him green eyes in his costume. So I'm using a bright green, a little YG03. And that's about all I need there for that. And then I'm going to move to some neutral grays. I'm going to start with the neutral gray 6. Going to start kind of dark and work our way lighter. So darker underneath the eye, through that under eye shadow. Just a ridge here around what will be black later on. We want to fade from black to dark gray to lighter gray. That is the intention here. So wherever there is black, I'm going to pull this neutral gray 6 from that area. Pull from there and out and away. A little bit down the side of the head there. Now I'm going to switch over down to the neutral gray 5. To create that gradation from darker to lighter to lighter to lighter. Considering the angles of the face or muscles or clothing, that's always a consideration. And then I'm going to switch to the neutral gray 3. Blend it all together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bluish gray sort of color, because I am doing the comic book version. So I'm going to use this B97. Wherever there are the darkest parts, I'm going to just add a little bit of this blue to it to give it more of that comic book sort of look. To make it a bluish sort of gray. Just gives the eye just a little more detail and color to play with. Says like it's gray, but there's some hints of blue. Little B95, just a little bit lighter shade of that grayish blue. So it's still mostly gray, but it gives a little bit of a just that little bit of blue can be nice. Let's see. I'm seeing I want to put a little bit of a darker gray here in T'Challa's eyes. A little neutral gray 5, just to give his iris a little more something. Gonna come in with my white pencil here, color in the white parts of his eye. Gonna come in with a little G14 just to add a little more green shape to his eye. His panther eye, I should say. Let's see, let's work in a background fade. So we're gonna, because T'Challa, oh, actually before I do the backgrounds, I need to add some realistic shadow, some gray shadow to all of this. So I'm gonna come in with some Cool Gray 3. I was thinking, man, there's something missing. Oh yeah, I haven't dropped in the shadows yet. Cool Gray 3. I'm going to power that down to a Cool Gray 2. There we go. I still have all these spots to fill in black. That is to come. Actually, I should go back to that Cool Gray 3 to put some of these grays in his jacket. So the collarbone, and then how the jacket kind of folds on his body. Shoulder, a little bit of the chest there. A little bit of this Cool Gray 2, just to kind of blend it a little lighter. Okay. So now we can work on that fade. I think I'm going to do a dark gray fade starting off. So I'm going to start with some Cool Gray 6. Not using neutral grays like I often do because there's so much neutral gray in the Black Panther side of his costume. I didn't want it to be so much neutral gray. So Cool Gray 6 to a Cool Gray 4. To a Cool Gray 2. To a cool, oh, actually that was a Cool Gray 3. Thought that looked pretty close to the Cool Gray 4. And some Cool Gray 1 then. I think what I want to do is take a very muted sort of green color, Cool Gray, or G43, I should say, just to put a little green in here. Just kind of ties it into his eye, it kind of complements the purple, so it's kind of this greenish to gray fade. A little G40. This gives us a little more color in the background. Now, got a couple of finishing moves here I want to do. One is I got to get this stitching in here. First, I'm going to put in the outline. This is my Uniball Signo white gel pen. You can get it at most any art supply store. I still have to fill in those blacks. That will come here in just a moment. That will be I think probably be the very last finishing move, which is not what I often do. Usually I have the blacks filled in before this part, but in this case, not as much. So it's really going to come together when I put those black spots in. It's really just going to all solidify. And it's kind of fun to see that happen. At least it's fun for me. And because T'Challa. I think I was starting this sentence earlier and just kind of abandoned it because something else caught my attention. Much like Doug the dog from Up. I think I saw a squirrel or something. Because T'Challa is a super genius scientist, we're going to give him a teched out lab background too, just like Tony Stark. But this time I'm going to use the white gel pen and use white lines. So love putting circles in my teched out backgrounds. They just look more futuristic. So maybe we'll put a circle, just finding the right size using my circle template here. One of my many drafting tools. Just looking for the right angle to hit. Circle 1. Is this teched out background week? I guess it kind of is, isn't it? Between Tony Stark, Carol Danvers, and now T'Challa. It's been crazy with the tech. It's just fun to do. It just can really bring so much to the illustration. That's the fun of learning to love backgrounds, is that when you can have fun building backgrounds behind your character, it takes your illustration up so many notches. Because it's not just a character in limbo, they're actually occupying a reality, and the reality can be as cool and detailed as your figure. You know, you can draw a cool shot of Batman or Spider-Man on top of a building, but if you just draw a few lines, it's not really there. You know, it's not like, it just looks like they're standing on some lines. It looks like they're standing on a cardboard box, but if you, and a very undetailed cardboard box, but if you really put in some research and details in that building, then you get, you can get some really, really cool, cool environment for your character. Now this, because the white gel pen inks it inks more slowly than the regular micron, I have to be very careful with how I place my triangle on here, because otherwise I could smudge the ink, and that is frustrating. So just creating these shapes. See, I got a little ink under there. If I had kept putting this down, I would have smudged some white ink I did not want to happen. So I'm considering the design elements of where I'm putting lines and creating shapes. Also want to leave this part open down here for my name and the date. So we will just start to create, just move this at the same angle as those lines. Just create a little real estate there for me to work in. So I want to vary the concentration of lines and the more open, sparse area of lines. So if I have a lot of lines together and then some big open areas, I don't want things to look too symmetrical if I can avoid it. Okay, almost done. Just a little bit over here, and then we can call this background done. Definitely kind of thinking of like Kirby style tech, since Jack Kirby created Black Panther. or at least co-created him with Stan Lee. So, so I want to keep that in mind. Maybe a little smaller circle inside that circle. Maybe put a few little dots in here. Okay, I think that'll work for his tech background. Now I need to draw in his the stitching on his coat here. So I kind of forgot what I had roughed in, so I'm just going to make something up here on the fly based on what I had, my remembrance of what I had seen in the reference material and whatever I can imagine right now. So a lot of triangles, a lot of stripes. So it kind of has like this sort of nice Wakanda look with, but also kind of has almost like a tech feel to it. So it almost mirrors what we see behind him. So it kind of walks this line between his like his Wakanda side, which is a very tech-based culture. Remember seeing dots in my reference material. I actually kind of like how this turned out better than what I had originally sketched. So, win-win. And there we go. That actually really is fun. Now, I do want to add a little white here to his Panther necklace. So since the collar is covering up a bit of the necklace here, I want to put the white on the part that's not cast under shadow. You put a little white highlight here in his eye. A little white highlight here in the tip of his nose. Maybe on that bottom lip. Beef up that. You can use any white pencil you come across. I just buy whatever I see at the art supply store. So I got the Derwent ink tints for my white pencil. So now it's time to fill in these black spots. All the spots with an X, that is my note to myself. Fill this spot in black. So now I can come in here with my Pentel Pocket brush pen and fill this all in with black. Gotta be very careful to stay inside the shapes as best I can. Stay inside the lines, I should say, so I don't compromise the initial shape that I had inked. And see, now it's like really starting to become solid, you know? Especially when you see his face come together, like his mask, his forehead, his chin. It's like, boom, it becomes real. It's like the black really solidifies things. Underneath his chin, both sides. Then inside the cape here. This is where it all starts to really come together. It's just fun to see how it just really takes shape. When you get those big chunky black shapes to become actualized. That's a Black Panther right there. Boom, done. Did that. All right, now I can add my name and today's date. And then today is the 24th. Is that correct? Yes, it is. 24th of April 2020. Just a few little detail tweaks. And there we go. T'Challa / Black Panther in his Wakanda laboratory. And that is today's alter ego post-it. T'Challa, Black Panther. Black Panther, T'Challa. All right, let's flip the camera around here and we can wrap up today's live stream. All right, clip back into the rig. There we go. Gang, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll have a shot of T'Challa here on my social media, so stay tuned for that. You can find all my social media links, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. They're all listed in the video description below. So if you're on any of those platforms, come find me, follow me. I post stuff on there pretty much daily, sometimes several times a day. So lots to see. I try to put as much content on there as possible. Thank you so much for joining me for this week. Alter Ego Week was a lot of fun. I will be doing more Alter Ego post-its in the future. I'm not sure when. It could be very soon. It might be a little bit later on. We'll see. We never know. But once I get another week going, you'll know. We'll see what next week's theme will be and what other surprises I might put together for next week. I'm not sure. I'm thinking through some new ideas of what to do for my live streams and I can do here with my art to maybe mix things up a little bit. We'll see. We'll see what I come up with over the weekend to see. Do I want to do that? Do I not? We'll see. So, but I am thinking of stuff here. So, gang, I really appreciate all of your support. Thanks, live streamers, for all your comments and questions. So sorry I'm not able to address them since so much of my focus is on the art and instruction, but I really do appreciate you sharing your questions and comments. If you're watching this on replay, feel free to leave a comment in the section below. If you just discovered my channel, please hit subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel and set your notifications to alert you so you don't miss out on future art live streams and art videos. New art video uploading tomorrow. One of my Instagram live streams will be uploading. Did some Instagram art live streams a couple of weeks ago. Another one uploads tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific. And yeah, and also if you like this video, a thumbs up is always appreciated too. Gang, I'm so glad to have hung out with y'all this week, and I'll see you again next week, next Monday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's 12 noon Central time. I'm sorry, 12 noon Eastern time. Please forgive me. So 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern, 4 p.m. Greenwich time. In case you're international, you can calculate your time zone from there. And yeah, we'll see you on Monday. So I hope you all have a great weekend. And so until then, I'm Todd Nauck. Keep on drawing, keep having fun. Take care, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy.